to understand what's happening here, we first have to ask, why is Russia doing what Russia is doing? Why are they building up this force on the border of Ukraine? What is it that they want? Because I can't imagine that Russia, being a nuclear power, wants to get into an apocalyptic, really, nuclear war with the United States. Putin's not an idiot. He's a despot, but he's not an idiot. He understands the idea of mutually assured destruction, that if he gets into a war with the United States, then it's going to escalate very quickly to nuclear war. And as soon as nuclear war hits, then it's mutually assured destruction. As soon as there's one nuclear strike, then, if they strike us, then we're going to strike back with everything we have and they're going to be gone, or vice versa. That's why there hasn't been nuclear war, because of this mutually assured destruction. So why is Russia doing this? Well, Russia's doing this for two reasons, essentially, because they believe that the Ukraine is part of Russia. After the Soviet Union, of course, there were nations that were broken off from the Soviet Union. They became their own sovereign nations. Russia never recognized this. This was something that was done by the rest of the world, but Russia believes that Ukraine is part of Russia. They feel that they have a right to take back what is theirs. That is not how the international community views this. The international community views international borders as being sovereign. We no longer, in the developed worlds at least, really accept nations taking over other nations. We don't accept boundaries being changed by violence anymore. There's a little pause, I guess you could call it, on that in our world history. I know the history of the world has been what exactly I just described, taking over other nations by force. But we no longer really do that in the developed world. And so Russia is violating what I would call an international norm. The other aspect of this is the Ukraine really wants to join NATO, and Putin doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO, because if Ukraine joins NATO, then obviously he's not going to be able to bring Ukraine back into Russia. And he knows about Article 5 of NATO, which says that when any NATO nation is attacked, the rest of NATO, the entirety of NATO, has to militarily come to the defense of that nation. So this is essentially all about NATO, but it's about NATO in the sense that Putin thinks that the Ukraine belongs to him to begin with. He doesn't recognize the sovereignty of the Ukraine. That being said, I don't think that Putin wants war with the United States. When I'm analyzing this, when I'm analyzing what that would mean, I don't think that Putin wants war with the United States. I think what Putin believes is that he can get away with what he's doing. He can get away with Biden's minor incursion on the Ukraine because Joe Biden is president of the United States.